Hello and very warm welcome to the Canada News with your host Gurdwara. Now let's have a look at the headlines. The Ontario government has accused international travel of spreading the case in the province. AstraZeneca vaccine relied on Dr. Supriya Sharma, Chief Medical Advisor of Canada. Every vaccine has been tested by Health Canada and approved only after that. Massive rallies and marches were held in Montreal to demand the resettlement of refugees and international students in Canada, organized by United Refuge Council. Now news in detail. The Ontario government has accused international travel of spreading the case in the province. Commenting on this, Leader of Opposition Andrea Harwood said that the premiers are doing this to avoid responsibility for the third wave and to provoke attention. He said people are going to work unnecessary, business establishments are closed, but the government is not ready to help anyone financially.
I want to say it shocks me that the Premier can claim that this is about mobility when we have workers who are non-essential that are going to work. We have workers who are essential and non-essential who are packed onto buses each and every day to get themselves to work. It doesn't make any sense that the issue that the Premier has to do with mobility. I think that there is a lot that can be done to open up safe outdoor activities. I think that's very clearly what leading public health and other science advisors are saying. And I think it's what Ontarians need and want. Safely, masking if you're going to be within 6 feet of each other. But I think there's a lot of room to give Ontarians a break. I think it's a deflection. I think people realize that the big problem we have in Ontario is our own Premier making the wrong decisions, but he doesn't want to acknowledge or admit that, so he's deflecting the blame onto everybody that he possibly can and refusing to acknowledge that he has to take responsibility for where we've ended up here in Ontario in the third wave. I think that there are some things that the government needs to do to ensure that we're successful here in the province, and people won't be surprised. We need to continue to focus on the hotspots. The government needs to shut down non-essential businesses for these last couple of weeks and support those businesses and those workers who are impacted. We need paid sick days in the province of Ontario. With all those things in place, I think we can be successful. But the unfortunate thing is the Premier just has not wanted to spend the money on these kinds of initiatives. Well, I think that we'll be much more successful if the government puts in place the things that they should have put in place before we opened up in the first place the last time. So, I mean, it's not rocket science, and the experts have been advising the Premier all along. You got to shut the non-essential workplaces down and provide financial support to those businesses. You've got to continue to focus on the hotspots, not walk away while those fires are still smoldering. You have to make sure that you're providing people with the tools they need to do the right thing if they're not feeling well, and that is paid sick days, to be able to give them the chance to stay home and still pay the bills when they're not feeling well. So I think if we put these things in place, we can tackle this third wave a lot quicker, and we should have been doing that from day one. Instead, businesses are closing. People are frustrated, they're upset, and rightfully so.
AstraZeneca vaccine relied on by Dr. Supriya Sharma, Chief Medical Advisor of Canada. Every vaccine has been tested by Health Canada and approved only after that, she said, who said that the number of second shots of AstraZeneca in Canada is 4,000, but more than 1 million doses have been given in UK, so Canadians have rely on it.
So, with respect to AstraZeneca, it's a good vaccine. It's still a good vaccine. Health Canada has authorized it. The benefits overall outweigh the risks. There is this serious, rare but real risk of clots, and we've talked about that before. So what we're facing right now is a time that we expected to come. We have limited supply of AstraZeneca coming in. We have a huge supply of the mRNA vaccines coming in. We've reached a marker where we've got about 50% of the adults that are vaccinated. So we were always going to have this pivot point about how we were going to use the vaccines that are coming when we have, potentially looking forward more supply than demand. So what provinces are looking at right now, they're looking at the supply that they have, the numbers of first doses that have been given, the plans that they need to reserve vaccine for second doses, and then overall what's happening with COVID-19 in their provinces, and then they're making their decision, as they have been all along, about how best to use the vaccines that are supplied to them. What I make of it is what I've made of any research that's coming out on COVID-19. I think what happens is that studies are ongoing. A bit of information is released publicly. Everyone's got a hot take on it. We've seen that just with some studies on Pfizer that have come out before people have had a chance to see the evidence. So what I would say with respect to AstraZeneca and the people that have received it, first of all, thank you. Thank you for protecting yourselves, your families, your communities, and helping to, sustain a health system that was really, really, really stretched and still is. So thank you for people that got AstraZeneca. And then the second part of it is, with respect to a second dose of AstraZeneca, when we look at the studies, the optimal dosing interval between the first and second dose is actually a bit longer. It is 12 weeks in the trials, and that gave you better immunity. So what I would say is, look, you've got your first dose. You can wait until 12 weeks for your second dose. When we have that time for that second dose, we will have the actual data from that study that's coming out of the UK, not just on the initial part that talks about reactogenicity or those side effects. We'll have information more on the safety side, more on how effective that is. We can take that information and then compare it to the information for AstraZeneca for second dose, and then we can offer people an educated, informed, empowered choice about their second dose.
Massive rallies and marches were held in Montreal to demand the resettlement of refugees and international students in Canada, organized by United Refuge Council. The march began at Jerry Park, reached Prime Minister Justin Trudeau office, and ended at the nearby park. It was demanded that the refugees, work permit holders and international students who have been ignored by the government should be made permanent. Many other allied organizations and political figures have also taken part in it. It is noteworthy that the Montreal City Council has already passed a resolution to make the raw people permanent.
So ਜਿਵੇਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੀ ਆਪਣੀ ਕੀ ਮੰਗ ਹੈ, ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਸਟੇਟਸ ਦੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਮੰਗ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਅੱਗੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਮੰਗ ਜਾ ਵੀ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ। ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਅੱਜ ਰੈਲੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ, ਮਾਰਚ ਕੀਤਾ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਸਾਡੀ ਸਿੰਸੀਅਰਿਟੀ ਦਾ, ਗੰਭੀਰਤਾ ਦਾ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗ ਸਕੇ।
ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਵੀ ਸਾਥੀ ਇੱਥੇ ਆਏ ਆ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਜੀ ਆਇਆਂ ਆਖਦੇ ਆ। ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਹੀ ਇੱਥੇ ਪਹੁੰਚੇ ਜੋ। ਇਹ ਆਪਣੇ ਇੱਕ ਹੱਕਾਂ ਦੀ ਮੰਗ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਆਏ ਆ। ਜਿਵੇਂ ਵੱਖ-ਵੱਖ ਰਸਤੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਕਿਸੇ ਇੱਕ ਮੰਜ਼ਿਲ ਤੇ ਜਾਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ, ਉਵੇਂ ਹੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਕੋਲ ਵੀ ਵੱਖ-ਵੱਖ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਰਸਤੇ ਸੀ। ਜਿੱਥੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਮੀਟਿੰਗਾਂ ਦਾ ਰਸਤਾ ਸੀ ਆਪਣੀ ਗੱਲ ਨੂੰ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਤੱਕ ਪਹੁੰਚਾਉਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ, ਉੱਥੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਮੀਟਿੰਗਾਂ ਵੀ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ, ਪਾਰਲੀਮੈਂਟ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਵੀ ਮੀਟਿੰਗ ਕੀਤੀ ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਜੂਮਰਾਈ ਮੀਟਿੰਗਾਂ ਵੀ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕਮੇਟੀ ਬਣੀ ਸੀ ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੋਈਆਂ। ਉੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਬੜੇ ਵਧੀਆ ਢੰਗ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਇਹ ਮੰਗ ਰੱਖੀ ਤੇ ਪਰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਨਵਾਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪੀਆਰ ਦਾ ਆਇਆ ਸੀ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਆਪਣੇ ਰਿਫਿਊਜੀਆਂ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਕੋਈ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ। ਖਾਸ ਕਰ ਕਿਊਬਿਕ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਰਹਿਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਵੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ। ਚਾਹੇ ਕਿਊਬਿਕ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੋਈ ਸਟੂਡੈਂਟ ਨੇ, ਚਾਹੇ ਵਰਕ ਪਰਮਿਟ ਹੋਲਡਰ ਨੇ, ਚਾਹੇ ਰਿਫਿਊਜੀ ਨੇ। ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ 90,000 ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪੀਆਰ ਕਰਨ ਦਾ ਆਇਆ, ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿਊਬਿਕ ਨੂੰ ਬਾਹਰ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਗਿਆ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਕਿਊਬਿਕ ਦੀਆਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਕੋਈ ਇਮੀਗ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਪਾਲਿਸੀਆਂ ਸੀ ਉਹ ਤੋਂ ਅਲੱਗ ਸੀ। ਸੋ ਇਸੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਸੋਚਿਆ ਸੀ ਵੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਇੱਕ ਮਾਰਚ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਆ ਉਹ ਕਰੀਏ। ਮਾਰਚ ਕਰਕੇ ਵੀ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਇੱਕ ਰਸਤਾ ਆ ਆਪਣੀ ਮੰਗ ਨੂੰ ਮੀਡੀਆ ਦੇ ਰਾਹੀਂ ਜਾਂ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਪਾਂ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਆ, ਸੋਸ਼ਲ ਮੀਡੀਆ ਦੇ ਰਾਹੀਂ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਤੱਕ ਆਪਣੀ ਮੰਗ ਨੂੰ ਪਹੁੰਚਾਈਏ। ਸੋ ਆਪਾਂ ਇਸ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਹੋਏ ਆ। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਸਾਥ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਇਹ ਆਪਣੀ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਮੰਗ ਹੈ, ਕਿਸੇ ਇੱਕ ਦੀ ਮੰਗ ਨਹੀਂ, ਕਿਸੇ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਆਏ।
ਸਿੰਘ ਰਾਜਪੁਰੋਈ, thank you very much for your contributed effort for only a mission status for all. We are also thankful Mr. Sardar Subdaniwal Sahab and Madam Antudilo along with Ms. Jenny Kwang and other CIM committee members present here who took the historical decisions to regularize the 90,000 immigrants in new pathway of permanent resident in this month. Third, unfortunately, refugees and without status peoples were excluded as they were found not eligible to have PR. and before also they regularized only frontline workers. We would like to manifest that not only healthcare sector are in the frontline warriors during these hard times of COVID-19, but every other immigrants workers is equal as the frontline workers, because without the backline workers who work in the shadow, the frontline warriors, they also would have left incompleted. It's not a job of one person. Everybody has to play a role to complete. We immensely feel the front and backline workers have the same amount of responsibility while fighting with COVID-19 and must be regarded with the same dignity and equality following the spirit of Canada, which is known for its equality and respect for all immigrants. In this right of equality should be given to every immigrant, because refugees never discriminate against the work and are always ready to work hard, maybe even more than frontline workers, bringing it behind the scene or at front without asking for any types of convenience. The government must also consider them as a part of the frontline workers. Actually, we had inconvenience with city during this week.
Au Québec, le gouvernement est en train de créer deux classes distinctes de citoyens qui ont accès à tous les droits et les personnes à statut précaire, comme beaucoup ici, ou sans statut qui vivent sans les mêmes protections de l'État. Deux classes de citoyens. À cause de leur statut d'immigration précaire, les personnes immigrantes sont exposées davantage aux abus des agents de placement, des patrons, et elles n'ont pas la protection des droits aussi fondamentaux, l'accès à la santé, à l'éducation. Et c'est même si elles vivent au Québec avec nous depuis des années. Elles vivent dans l'angoisse de devoir quitter le Québec, et c'est même si elles font partie intégrante de cette société. Today, we are once again reunited to ask both the Quebec government and the federal government to broaden the statute regulation program. Immigrant workers have been on the front line for the past year, and it deserves recognition. For too long, immigrant workers have been invisible. Les travailleurs et travailleuses immigrants ont toujours été là, invisibles et invisibilisés. La pandémie nous a révélé la contribution aimante des personnes immigrantes à notre société.
We the kids have been studying hard, learning French and English and Canadian values. We don't have any ties left to their countries of origin. Denying the kids permanent residence and keeping them under fear of being deported and making them refugees in their home countries again would be inhuman. We have chosen this country. Now it's time that this country chooses us. Thank you.
Sorry, I was talking with my deputy. You know, I love him so much. He's doing so much for the organization in Parc Extension in Laurier d'Orient, just that. So this morning I was very, very happy. And I was just like, when I was walking, I was feeling like crying. Because I think, like Africo-Feminine, for the women that we have, for the women who's working a lot, for the women who's supporting their family, for the women who's supporting their husband, for the children. I know I have one a little bit girl who said that, please, can we give our father the PR? It's too touching for me. So we working and we know that just through the women who's supporting the husband, we can do something. And I realized that we are in Parc Extension and we are in Trudeau country. So we have a father who don't take care for the children. So we have now to tell him that, please, everybody speak a lot. So please, daddy, take care of your children. Do like your father in 1988 give us the paper. Everybody say that. We are essential. Everybody is essential. We're walking to the farm. We're walking to the factory. We're walking everywhere. We're working during the pandemic since March 2020. So So we need that. We need that. Not just only the one who was in the hospital. We say that, and we know that we understand up, and it's not that his children are crying, and we're crying this morning just to tell him that listen to our mom, listen, put your ears and listen to your child, so that you, up there you are, you have to come down in your county and after do something for our children.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford visited vaccination centre in Peel region. He commented that the Peel Public Health Department on the occasion said that the centre would provide 7,600 doses a day. He said more vaccine clinics would be set up in the province.
Well, we're here at the International Plaza with Peel Public Health, and I just have to tell you, these folks are champions and going around the clock, and I think the target is 7,000. 7,200. Regional Chair Nando, thank you.
Thank you.
And where's Paul? Paul was here too.
Dr. Lowe.
And Dr. Lowe and Mike Chin.
Hardest working MPP.
Hardest working MPP. Anyways, this is great, folks. The more people that can come out, the quicker we can open up. And we are going to open up very, very soon. And I have to say one thing about the summer camps. July 3rd is usually the time they open. They're opening up this year. Wow. Because of the great work that these people are doing. Wow. And they're doing a fantastic job. I'm fogging up a little bit, Jamie. I don't have the defog on this one.
That's all right. Yesterday we saw a huge demo at Queen's Park. The way up here I saw packed parks.
Yeah.
Just packed parks. What do you have to say to those people that are...
Well, you know, I understand people want to get out and get fresh air, but when they demonstrate, it doesn't help. See, that's the difference. These people are getting vaccinated. They're working around the clock, the healthcare workers, and these people are demonstrating without masks. That just spreads COVID. Folks, the way we get through this, all those demonstrators come down here and get vaccinated, and we're going to open up very, very soon, extremely soon.
And all the parks are packed today.
Yeah, no, I understand. People want to get out and get fresh air, but through the protocols, the reason the numbers are coming down slowly, the ICUs are coming down slowly, because the vast majority of Ontarians are following the protocols.
Dr. Lawrence Law, Brampton medical officer, reports on the third wave in Brampton. The situation is slowly improving during the third wave, he said. Conditions are improving in hospitals as well. He said that the vaccination process in the Peel region is in full swing.
So honestly, Paul Sharma is our clinical lead and he can tell us.
Yeah, okay, so, Paul, and your first name is? Paul,
last name Sharma, and yeah, so we're actually hoping, we had appointments for 7,600 people, we've had over 5,500 booked, and we're hoping more and more people come out to get vaccinated today.
And you're ready?
We are locked and loaded, we're ready to go.
Now, because you have a shortfall of about 2,300, does that mean you can walk up?
So the thing is, we're actually asking people to book appointments. We're not encouraging walk-ups, but if people do show up, we will not turn them away. But we are really encouraging people to book because we don't want to have lineups outside.
And your title, Paul?
I am I'm the mass vaccination program co-lead.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you. And Dr. Lowe?
Yes.
How does it look in Peel?
Honestly, we're seeing our third wave start to resolve. Cases are coming down. Our escape valve, which is the hospitals, that needs a little more time, more to stabilize. But I'm feeling that this is a bit of a turning point in our campaign. The air here is just one of ebullience and hope and optimism. And we're going to try to get to that 75% first dose coverage to change the tail of the tape. And I would echo what Chair Unica said. This is thanks to the provincial government's over allocation to hotspots. Peel's been hard hit. We know that we've had a vulnerable population. We've been really grateful for the extra vaccine to be able to ramp up our vaccine offerings in Peel.
Great. And what does that mean if people are going out to the parks today? Like I can go to any park in Peel or Toronto or New York and find it packed.
Well, I think the big thing is we know that people need the outdoors for their mental health and well-being. I've certainly made that comment as we went forward. And I think really as long as people are smart about it, making sure they're sticking with their own household, distancing, masking, avoiding close contact without any of those precautions, you can enjoy the outdoors safely. Please make sure you're not crowding or not going out if you're sick.
With this type of max vaccination, is Peel going to be opening soon?
I think with any opening, it will have to be gradual, but we certainly want to make sure we get to that first milestone of 75 first dose coverage, and then it's really important for people to remember, it's not one and done. We got to push through to second doses, and then things will open more and more as our coverage grows more and more. One
person was killed and 3 others were injured in the shooting in Toronto this afternoon. Toronto police are investigating the case, with police claiming that 100 shots were fired before the shooters were chased away.
I was coming to go get my laundry, and I heard gunshots, so I run for my life. And we could be sitting out there, and so it's really scary. It's really scary. In a broad daylight.
There are, I'm going to say, dozens of shell casings up there. One officer estimated at maybe close to 100. Witnesses have described like rapid gunfire, which could be either a semi-automatic or an automatic weapon. But again, that's something I can't really comment on until we know more about it.
We start to hear that it could be any one of us. Maybe it could be us come outside and that happened too, right?
It's not good. I have a little son. I wouldn't want him to be outside when all of this was happening, for sure.
The sudden departure of an army general overseeing Canada's COVID-19 vaccination campaign has raised many questions. The federal government is being questioned by experts and political opponents. In a 3-line statement this evening, the Department of Defense announced that Major General Denny Fortin had delivered and distributed doses of COVID-19 vaccine across the country. The role being played is now being abandoned. No word yet why he was fired. The Defense Ministry, including Prime Minister Justin Trudeau office and Defense Minister Harjit Sajjan, has refused to provide any information in this regard, nor it is stated in what context the investigation is being conducted. The government has also declined to say what the inquiry was decided. Attempts are also being made to determine whether Fortin's inspection began before he led the vaccination campaign in November. It is unknown at this time what he will do after leaving the post. Quebec is opening a drive-through vaccine clinic at its busiest airport, and Ontario is expanding vaccine eligibility. As provinces make strides towards immunization their adult populations, Ontario was originally scheduled to lower vaccine access to people as young as 30, but instead said today all adults in the province can book an appointment starting today. The Ford government says it will stop sending half its doses to COVID-19 hotspots, where those 18 and up have been eligible to get vaccinated, and will instead distribute the vaccines across province on a per capita basis. Ontario's vaccine expansion is possible because of an early delivery of 1.4 million vaccines to Canada from manufacturers Pfizer-BioNTech. Quebec opened a drive-in vaccination clinic at Montreal Trudeau International Airport today and announced it was sending musicians to play at some vaccine centers at an incentive to get people to take the shot. Health officials in Quebec reported 551 new COVID-19 infections today, which is the lowest number of new daily cases since September. Quebec has reported a total of 363,847 COVID-19 cases and 1,142 deaths linked to the virus. So that's all we have in this bulletin. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more updated news.